Your probation officer cannot revoke your probation. That's right, your probation officer cannot revoke your probation. Hello folks, I'm Andrew Williams, and this is another edition of the Fedora Lawyer. I'm board certified in criminal law, and I've spent the last 29 years representing people accused of all sorts of crimes, everything from traffic tickets to capital murder. In this video, I'm going to clarify a couple of misconceptions you might have about what your probation officer can and cannot do and how much power that person has over you. And no doubt, I'm going to alleviate some of the unfounded fears you might have about what your probation officer can do. Now, if you stay till the end, I'll tell you a little secret about how to fight back in the event your probation officer claims you violated some condition of your probation when you really didn't. All right, now I get a lot of calls from people and they're just scared out of their wits because their PO just called and said they're going to revoke their probation and send them to prison. Now, when your PO calls and tells you that, undoubtedly it's going to scare the hell out of you. But you know what? It's a big, fat, smelly lie. Your PO is not God and he's not the judge of your court. Your PO can't just revoke your probation and send you to prison for a few years. That's not how it works. That's a lot of power, and your PO does not possess it. Your probation officer, believe it or not, is nothing more than a record keeper, is a pencil pusher. Your PO keeps track of everything you do while you're on probation for the judge. Your probation officer keeps track of your meetings, your community service hours, the classes you're supposed to take, any fees or restitution you're supposed to make. Your probation officer's job is to keep the judge informed of your progress while you're on probation. If you're doing what you're supposed to do, all is well and you're not going to have any problems. But if you start having violations, at some point your probation officer is going to send a report to the judge with a list of all the violations that you have. But what your probation officer cannot do is revoke your probation. No matter how many violations you have, no matter how bad they are, all your PO can do is advise the judge of the violation. Now, if the violations are serious enough, the judge, and only the judge, can revoke your probation. But even the judge can't revoke your probation without first giving you an opportunity to explain yourself. So revocation of your probation is not automatic with the judge either. So don't panic when your probation officer calls and says, I'm going to revoke your probation, because it's a bunch of crap. All your probation officer can do is report your violations to the judge. And even then, a revocation is not automatic. Okay, so here's how you fight back when your PO claims that you violated some condition of your probation when you actually didn't. At the very beginning of your probation, you start keeping a written record of everything you do while you're on probation. Get a receipt for every time you pay money for anything, fees, fines, court costs, whatever it might be, and keep those receipts until the probation is over. Keep a record of your community service hours, when and where you did it, and maybe a contact person that can verify it. Keep a record of all the calls you made to your PO, regardless of what it's about. If you're late for a meeting or if you miss a meeting with your PO, call them up, leave a voicemail, make a note of it somewhere. Keep a written note, a running diary of everything you do, and keep a record of all this information until your probation is over. That way, when your PO makes a claim that you didn't comply with some condition of your probation, you can say, oh yes I did, I called you on this day, here's a note, this is what I did. Now it might be a pain in the ass to do all that and keep all those records, but I assure you it's a bigger pain in the ass to sit in jail because your PO made a mistake and you didn't bother to keep good enough records to clarify the error before you went to jail. All right, well, I hope this information was helpful. If it was, hit the like button for me. Maybe somebody else will run across it and find it beneficial. Now, I do have another video explaining what happens when you do violate your probation, and it gives a very good explanation of the two main types of probation violations and the possible outcomes for each. You can also visit my website at andrewwilliamslaw.com. For now, this is the Fedora Lawyer signing off.